incubators, but how many of them are effectively surviving and giving effective services to startups? What is the best model that we have? I think it's time to study what are the best models in the US. On an average, US model, if you study, almost 75% of your operation expense is contributed by the government on an average, of which 25% comes from the federal, 25% comes from the regional county government, and for the local municipal corporations comes about 25%. States in India have taken up their own challenges and they are supporting startups. But sir, Government of India as a centrally, there is always limitation of funds because we are very big as a nation. For example, Pune city, we may have 5, 6 good incubators. We may require about 6. 5, India would require 10,000. We are 300. How do we scale from 300 to 10,000? Our model that we are promoting now, which is Niti Aayog or any or DSP or DBT, if you have 10,000 of space, will give you say 5-10 crore of rupees. Where is the sustainability? I am confident there is no sustainability. And because I am talking about 2 decades of experience and grooming this, as we have to see sustainability of startups, but sustainability of the incubators, if you don't ensure, we will not be able to promote startups, we will not be able to. The only incubators in the country are sustaining on OPEX, operation cost. They are real estate. They are larger spaces, and their rentals they are getting, they are surviving. Not on IP, not on selling of companies, not on generating revenue from IPs. IP revenue is a dream. IP revenue is a dream. So I think we need to look into this very seriously. I'm very happy today that when Honorable Minister decided to come to Pune, we thought instead of visiting just to science and technology part of the earlier program, I thought why not, because his time is very limited. In limited time, how many times he would be able to come and interact with our startups because in Pune there are several incubators. So we thought why not invite incubators from Pune city, and so that way we have invited incubators from various startups from various incubators so that we have bring. So one more observation I have is, within a formal incubator, I don't think whatever startups that we do, Adira, almost 85 to 90% which are not in formal incubation program. How do you still get I think with this few opening remarks, thank you very much once again. Thank you University Vice Chancellor. Thank you Madam Manisha ji for coming all the way from Bombay and supporting this initiative. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Jagdale, for that insightful, frank talk. And now I will request Dr. Apurva Palkar of Savitribai Phule Pune University Campus Research Park Foundation to address the guys.
Initiative. Savitribai Phule University needs no introduction, and I know that we've been amongst the top universities as per the NIRF ranking, and that brings the heritage and also the strength as well as the pressure on us in terms of making ourselves to be the best. We're also fortunate to have with us on campus IUCA, NCCS, ISRO, NCCS, CDAC, who've been here, and that brings in the research strengths to the university. So, Research Park Foundation is a very new entity, sir. We are just barely about 2 years old. So, this has been the blocks that we've created for ourselves in terms of building thinking skills, the technology transfer, which is the second part. We're not as old as the science technology part, but we're just 2 years old in a 70-plus-year-old university. One important objective that Honorable Vice Chancellor has put for this commercialization of the research, and of course, goes without saying that promoting startups, and in 2 years we have 30 plus vibrant startups with us.
Okay, sir.
Our methodology that we have adopted in the university is, we have the biggest strength, and that's our affiliating system. And we felt that grassroots innovators are in the affiliating system. So we reached out to our college ecosystem, and we have set up 340 startup innovation cells in colleges. And we also built up capacity for faculty members
YouTube
as
से
well as looked at student
YouTube
startups.
YouTube से ले
So we're very fortunate that there are more than 2,000 ideas that we've been able to assess in the last 2 years that we've been in existence. Industry hackathons, and also we work very, very closely with the municipal corporation as well as the smart city. The problems are coming from them. The prize money is also coming from them. So it's just not that the problem is in the air where the startup feels that this is a problem, but this is also associated with some kind of incentivization, which is the seed money coming from them. Of course, there are a lot of pitch fests that we're doing, and we're also running a few courses. We feel that these courses are also the pipeline for the students to come into the startup ecosystem. We've connected with TAI Pune, TDI Ahmedabad, global networks like Gache Marathi, and of course the DRDO, ARI, all these that remain here in the ecosystem are some that we're taking up. These are the 5 quick steps that we've been doing. So the competition, the college level, the boot camp that we run for them, we do the selection process. It's just not about these startups from these ecosystems, but we also get people from the open market as well. So capacity building, ideas and mentors. So these are being the strengths of the university. Having said this, we'd like to also very specifically say that we're also going towards sustainability in almost about 2 years without really depending on the funding that's coming to us from Maharashtra State Innovation Society, which is given us the fund. So this is how the sourcing of the startups is happening. The impact that we've been able to create from 30, we've almost now moved to 440 startups, 300 plus jobs that we've created. There is a lot of investment that has come from outside, more than 20 patents which are granted to these startups. It's not about the university that I'm talking of, and of course the college ecosystem. That these are the stages in which my startups are. Some are at the early stage, some are at the mid stage, and some are at the mature stage. You've met a few of them. So this is the copy element which you met. He's already speaking to a few investors, and he's talking of raising close to around 80 crores this year. So that is what is the tall order. He wants to become a unicorn. So that's what we have. And every startup that you met, e-innovation working with NABARD, and he's also barely 2 years old from a small town in Vidarbha. He's come to Pune and he's getting nurtured with us. Some in the areas of medical science. So this is another one who is working on the cancer side that we have. Along with that, we also, as I said, we also work with college startups. So these are 2 college startups. So there is one boy called Akara Rao who's developed a solar vehicle. Then we have someone called Go Green, again in the ecological side. So, and Wordsmire is another startup which in the year 1 itself raised an angel funding of about 1 crore of rupees. So this is the incubation facility that we have. Again, thanks to Maharashtra State Innovation Society that we have a nice, beautiful incubation center in the university, which is attracting a lot of people to come and work. Even in the COVID times, they feel excited to come to the incubation center. And these are the areas where we provide support like any other startup. Of course, this is a team. I'm there, Dr. Arvind Shaigram, who is a very senior professor of the university. He's the CEO, and we have other members, the senior manager, the company secretary, who's already a. So it's a very lean, thin team that we have. And these are the engagements that we have done in barely about 18 months with some of the stakeholders. We have a startup club, and we are also associated in the industry. Newspapers are talking about us, or the newspapers have been speaking about us. This is the first cohort. Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji had inaugurated this incubation center, which was under RUSA that time. Manisha ma'am was the principal secretary at RUSA, where she had helped us to get this incubation center in the university. And this is what became a reality. These events that we've been doing. A lot of people who get associated with us, a lot of things that we've been doing, master classes, boot camps that we've been doing. So this is a small gallery of what we do. We do a lot of work with other players like Incubator, IT Madras, etc. Just a small beginning of a small baby in the cradle for you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Apurva Palkar, for that quick snapshot of what RPS is doing in Pune. And now it's my pleasure to invite Shri V. Premnath. He is the head director, CEO of Venture Center Pune, one of the finest incubators and accelerators.
First of all, greetings to all the dignitaries, and thank you very much for inviting us to present as well. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Venture Center story briefly in as short a period as possible. What you see is the Venture Center, which is located just about a kilometer down the road from here. We are closely, of course, interacting with Pune University and grateful for the association as well. We are today, just this month, finishing 15 years of service to the nation, and we'll be doing celebration closer to end of December. Can I, think this works? Sorry, can I, okay. Can I just request you to go to the next slide? Oh yes, okay, great. I think that shut off, so I was a little confused. We are basically a science-based business incubator focused on inventive enterprises. We are one of the top institutions of that kind out here. Can you just go back 1 minute, please? One slide back. So there seems to be some problem. We are the first incubator in the CSIR system. We are also home to several national programs. We are a national implementation partner for several programs related to the DSC, the Atal Innovation Mission. We run something called the AIM Prime right now on behalf of the Atal Innovation Mission as well. So we have, as I told you, we are focused on knowledge-based enterprises, and we leverage the scientific and engineering institutions in this region. Some of the sectors we are actively involved in include healthcare, biotech, biomedical, life sciences, energy and environment, engineering, electronics, manufacturing, and agro and secondary agriculture, amongst other. I'm sorry. Yeah. Here is a slide of some of our success stories. These are companies which you might have heard of as well. On the bottom left corner, on the top right corner, you can see Nobel Exchange, which you also saw outside as a display, which is the first city-scale demonstration of organic waste bio-CNG in India, and role model for the SATAT program, as you're aware. On the bottom right corner, you can see MyLab, which is the first company to get approval for the indigenous RT-PCR test. You can also see the other companies which you saw today, for example, the first dual-powered hand-crank defibrillator, which is a path-breaking defibrillator, which you also saw outside. And there are several other companies. I just want to point out one more here, which is OmniBRX, which basically produces disposable bioreactors, which have been used for vaccine manufacturing by vaccine majors during COVID pandemic as well. There are many others which are first of a kind and first in India and first in the world, which we can talk about. Next slide, please. Overall, we have about 15 years of experience. At any given time, we host about 70 plus resident startups in the incubator. And we have worked with about 600 odd startups in the last several years. And of this, we are able to do this because we also have a very large team of 50 odd team members, and we host about 9 resource centers. There's a 200 plus engaged mentor community, and we run about 200 plus events a year. There are a few things, because we're an inventive enterprise incubator, we're chosen to focus on a few strong areas of intellectual property management, regulatory facilitation, and some advanced prototyping, because you're all most of our companies are product companies and manufacturing companies, most of it. Of course, we are agnostic, but nonetheless, that's our sweet spot. Next slide, please. Here are some numbers indicating some things which are special to the Venture Center. About 30% of our founders are women, which is outstanding by global standards. About 85% of our founders have higher degrees, so we specialize in very knowledge-intensive activities. In recent years, in the last 5-6 years, although we are an early stage incubator, our companies have raised about 500 crores in this capital and about 1,000 crores in revenue generated by these companies in the last 5 years. And that is on the back of around 100 unique patent families, which these companies are holding. These are the current startups right now in Venture Center. The next slide, please. So our philosophy is to try and build an ecosystem where we are filling up some of these gaps, which allow these companies to go seamlessly from one end to the other. So we try to cover infra, mentoring, funding, and by the way, all these are open facilities. It's an open access facility, open to anybody. They don't have to be necessarily a resident incubator of Venture Center. They can come from anywhere. And of course, plug-and-play laboratories, prototyping facilities, testing, analysis, regulatory, tech transfer, and so on. You will see that we are trying to fill up gaps for knowledge-intensive startups as much as possible. Next slide, please. In MedTech, we have tried to go end-to-end. One of the things I wanted to point out here is that we also are home to a CDSCO approved ISO 13485 certified clean room facility for MedTech products, so that they can do the clinical trial samples right there. Otherwise, they won't be able to raise money for setting up their own facilities for just doing clinical trial samples. And that is something which is just to illustrate the whole range that you can take to facilitate these startups and take them to an investment point. Next slide, please. Yeah. Just a couple of glimpses out here. Next slide, please. Can you go to the next slide? Yeah. I'm closing right now. About 50% plus are health, about 15% are energy, environment, agro, and so on and so forth in our incubating portfolio. I think with the last, can you just go to the last slide? Sure. I just want to point out that we also have spin-outs from national labs, and that is something which is also unique. These are spin-out companies, and you saw at least one of them here today, which in the showcase as well. I think I'll stop with that in the interest of time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Premnath, for that insightful talk on what Venture Center is doing. And now it's my pleasure to invite Mr. Prashant Girbani, Director General of Karnataka Chamber of Commerce, Industries and Agriculture, one of the finest state-level industry association, probably best in the country, no doubt.
धन्यवाद. आदरणीय मंत्री जी, व्यासपीठावरील मान्यवर आणि सभागृहातील आमंत्रित, विशेषतः स्टार्टअपची तरुण मित्र मंडळी. Sir, I have only 4 things to share and a key recommendation. I represent MCCI, a chamber of commerce that's been here around for the past 87 years. We have talked about it in past, sir. About 3,000 odd members. Sir, most of these members are MSMEs, small little companies. There are large companies, but many MSMEs. Many of them have a key challenge, which is to do with liquidity and credit. You are aware of that. So a company, a startup that is contributing in bridging the credit gap is very, very important. Take an example of Payana, based here in Pune, helping many, many MSMEs to bridge that credit gap, sir. So I'm trying to highlight how some of these startups are helping industry and especially MSMEs. So look at the second one, manufacturing. We are the largest manufacturing base around, and you are well aware of that. So when you looked at the exporting countries in the Ministry of Commerce and Industry database,
their proof of concept is already established. My done with, and they have been evaluated by independent jury, both in terms of their cost, simultaneously promote incubators led by industrial associations. Our Aurangabad cluster, they have created 2 clusters in electronics and in automobiles. And I do feel that in rural areas, local industry-led incubations should also be supported by the government on the same footing as the ones which we are supporting by academic institutions. So another observation is that we still need to debate, but I feel that fund of funds may be a better model instead of giving just a direct seed money. So there also, how do we professionally manage and how the states can be supported technically is another thing that we need guidance and clarity on. In our meet, sir, there was a proposal to brand Mumbai as a fintech city. There is an ecosystem that incentivizes fintechs and places like Pune for manufacturing and IT. But most important, sir, many of the investors, VCs felt that positioning of state as startup destination with help of GUI, that is very, very important. Real estate cost is a huge issue, so some type of world-class innovation park and incubation center near Mumbai might be a good idea to attract investments. And I would say, sir, one more requirement that I feel coming from the startups is that facilitation of international collaboration at the state level, sir. Because today that facilitation is only happening through the window of Invest India, which is in Delhi, sir. The resources, human resources there are very little, and therefore if a regional office or you could take our innovation society office of the state as a window to facilitate, and we could also chip in the human resources. So I think that would be helpful in connecting our startups with foreign counterparts, both for technology transfer, market expansion and business deals, sir. And lastly, as a bureaucrat, sir, I would say that it is very, very important to build institutional capacities within the public sector and government also. So you cannot write innovations on archaic procedures which was designed for mistrust and due diligence. And we need to have a new approach and an inbuilt flexibility and professional support. And this is very, very important right now, sir. Because in terms of whether it is fund release or it is creating different models of PPP for supporting startups or the government wanting to create a stake in the startups that we are today giving seed capital for. I think all this requires a fresh thinking, sir, which is not currently reflected in our administrative and financial rules. And therefore, with your help and guidance, sir, we would like to create a different model. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing those policy initiatives and other things. And now I request Ms. Manisha ma'am to present a very interesting book, The Innovation Revolution, 72 Startups Under Innovation Revolution, are being presented there. 15 lakhs are presented to each of those startups over the year. And it's a lovely book with a profile. And now I'm sure going forward we can transform that into a profitable book. Your minister will even appreciate it even more. Because he also heads the coffee board of India and the coffee initiative. Thank you. And with that, I would like to invite the Honorable Union Minister for Industries and Commerce to address the gathering. We are all waiting for that. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much for the very warm welcome that the Savitribai Phule Pune University faculty, management and Mr. Dr. Rajendra Chitale, Shri Vipendra Singh Kushwaha, my colleague Ms. Shruti Singh, chairs from the Ministry of Commerce and Industry, who looks after the startup ecosystem. Many colleagues who gave us presentations, Dr. Purva Palkar, Shri Premnath, Shri Prashant Girbane, all the other distinguished Punekars who have joined us today, and all the wonderful startup entrepreneurs that I had the occasion to meet and see your work. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. It's truly a delight to be amongst all of you here today. In fact, I'm told Savitribai Phule had started the first Indian girls' school in Pune. So it's very appropriate that we had a number of women entrepreneurs also showcasing their work today. Special compliments to all of you. And you see, we have a woman leading the Maharashtra effort, we have a woman leading the national effort. And whatever we may do, we'll never match up to the capacity of our sisters and daughters, that I'm very sure. And they will keep this flame, the entrepreneurial flame, alive. And it's pretty much evident in the fact that almost 46% of the startups that are registered with DPIIT have women entrepreneurs also as a part of the ecosystem or a part of the registered DPIIT registered startups. In fact, Madam, you spoke about tier 2 and tier 3, almost 45% startups, even today, are from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. But I do like your point that we need to have more incubators over there. We are in the process, I think, of identifying more and more incubators under a recent scheme that we have launched, and we'll be happy to receive any further suggestions in this regard that you may have. I also like your idea about rating of incubators and maybe escalating the funding for those incubators that do a good job. But truly, incubators are like parents for all of us in the startup ecosystem. They guide us, they support us, they hold our hand. When we are tottering or when we are facing difficulty, they encourage us, give us that little pat on the back, help us stand up again. I don't know, I was seeing the drone as a part of the exhibits, and I was reminded of the Three Idiots and that young engineer who, in the movie, of course, not in real life, but in the movie, gave up because he didn't get the right support at the right time. And all he needed was that little push at the last point of his innovation. And that's, I think, probably 10 or 12-year-old movie. So it shows that this entrepreneurial spirit was very much there amongst our young boys and girls. After Prime Minister Modi came in 2014, he recognized the power and the talent that each one of you has, and the Startup India mission took shape or was seeded. And I am delighted that today we have an ecosystem across the length and breadth of the country that boasts of over 50,000 startups which are registered. There must be a few lakh startups which are not even registered with DPIIT. Many which are at budding stage or conceptualization or still ideation. But truly, the way we have grown almost to become the third largest ecosystem in the world is a matter of pride. And Pune, you'll be happy to know, has almost as many startups as all of Mumbai. So the number of startups registered with us in DPIIT from Pune are about 3,200, whereas Mumbai is just about 3,274 or thereabouts. So you are not very far behind. Of course, I come from Mumbai. अब मुंबईकर और पुणेकर के बीच में ये संघर्ष और आगे बढ़ना चाहिए कि कौन नंबर 1 हो जाता है. अभी तक वो है पर गैप बहुत छोटा है. I am really delighted to see the enthusiasm amongst your management team and all those who presented the good work that's happening to encourage the startup ecosystem. And in that sense, Pune has a very, very unique position. You have industry here, you have the IT sector, so technology here. You have some of the finest academic institutions. And all of us agree that it's the interface of academia, industry, and research which will ultimately take this country forward. Innovation is what defines developed countries today. Look at the United States, look at most European countries, particularly countries like Sweden or Finland or Germany. They are really defined by the innovation that they do. And that's what takes them forward. Incidentally, the STEM students who come out of the engineering and science technology background, the United States doesn't produce too many of them. The US citizens, probably 300 or 400,000. It is China and India who have the maximum STEM students today. And we have a unique opportunity. We are of course influencing and helping research and innovation in the United States and other parts of the world. We have a unique opportunity in India now to take all of these across oceans, across continents, and I cannot but agree with Madam Manisha ji when she says we need to encourage more international collaborations. And I think when I get back to Delhi, we'll look at how we are going to take this idea forward and expand opportunities for all our startups when they want to engage across nations and out of India. Of course, in terms of unicorns also, while India has done extremely well, but 79 unicorns today in India, and we are losing track. I think every time I'm giving a presentation, I have to ask for the latest number, because it keeps changing. One happened only 3 or 4 days back. It's got a unicorn status. Pune itself has 4. I'm told Mindtickle, First Try, Icertis, I hope I pronounced it right, and Dhruva. 4 unicorns from out of Pune. That's something to be really proud of. But I'm sure there are many more in the making. Your own science and technology park has so far incubated 153 startups, as we saw just now. The SPPU Research Park Foundation has about 30 startups currently at the incubation center. So really, there's a lot happening here. And I have no doubt that the way COVID made us all change our mind and start looking at innovative solutions. Going forward, we'll use the spirit of inquiry that is currently becoming current point. Every child from young ages, and I saw some very young students also coming up with brilliant ideas. This spirit of inquiry should not be allowed to die. The spirit of inquiry needs to be encouraged. The spirit of inquiry will define the future of India and Indian education also. And towards that end, we have also changed a lot in the new education policy. We are not looking at typical degree and diploma holders coming out of colleges and the BA, BSc, BCom, BA programs, defining a student or a child's capabilities. I think more and more vocational training, recognizing skill sets of each individual and guiding him and giving him opportunity to pursue whatever is his calling in life is going to be the way future education is going to be carried out in India. Of course, EdTech also, the changes that are happening in our education system, where online education is playing an important role, will also, going forward, help us to explore new avenues and help us to gain knowledge from all over the world when we are dealing or trying to find solutions to the many problems that India faces, that the world faces. But I was very happy when I saw some of the solutions, of course, on agriculture also, another area which is very, very critical to the future of India. Some of your solutions on the physically challenged or accident victims were very exciting to see. COVID, of course, has provided a lot of opportunity for us to explore. I saw some of the companies which have worked on COVID solutions. I think my lab has also come up with some very good ideas which they presented to me in Delhi. And on our part, we're trying to give several incentives from the government. Madam, we can keep adding as many as you want. But at the end of the day, I personally believe that the less the government interferes in our startup ecosystem, the more potential we have for it to be successful. Look at the IT sector. The biggest and single most reason why the IT sector is a big success in India is because the government had no role to play. Wherever the government got involved, and we saw nationalization of so many different businesses or different sectors in the 60s and 70s, some of it also spilling over in the 80s. I think all of that has stymied the growth of those sectors. And if we allow our children to flourish, if we allow our entrepreneurs to have the freedom to take wings, to fly with the least amount of government interference or involvement, my own sense is they'll be able to get scale in their operation, they'll be able to have a growth, they'll be able to come up with cost-effective and affordable solutions, they'll improve their designs, they'll improve their quality, and end of the day, clutches will only help us in the short run. If we really want this ecosystem to survive and go to great lengths, then we'll have to let it work on its own. So I mean, if I read out the list of unicorns, for example, I would suspect none of them got any reservation in government account. Almost none of them would have taken government support to become unicorns. It's good ideas, high quality delivery, good technology, how you can scale up quickly, it's service standards, or how you can add value to ease of doing business or ease of living. These are going to be the factors which will define success or failure. Government can play a role. We have a fund of funds, we give some income tax concession. I've reduced the patent charges by 80% for startups and for women entrepreneurs, for any trademark filing or any patent filing. We have some relaxation in public procurement also. There's self-certification under labor laws, under environment laws. There is a 10,000 crore fund of funds the government has seeded to promote startups across the country. I think it operates through Sydney, and large amounts of funds have already been given. At the seed stage also, while the government has some initiatives, state governments and different ministries. So petroleum had a 100 crore rupee fund. I think the biotechnology and science departments also have been promoting, and they've come up with some very fantastic innovations, including the co-vaccine, which I also took, which came out of a joint biotech department and the private sector working together to develop co-vaccine. You have an income tax exemption for 3 out of 10 years. All of these going forward can only be small enablers. The big picture is going to be written by you. The drawing is going to be made by you. The architecture of the startup ecosystem will be defined by all of you. And therefore, as we work together in a partnership model, we can only be a facilitator. We can only act as a small enabler. But it's ultimately going to be the enterprising, indomitable spirit of our young boys and girls, of our startup entrepreneurs, that will truly define success. Well, I'm saying young boys and girls, but not to say that at our age we cannot be startup entrepreneurs also. We just had a very successful lady entrepreneur who's now probably the richest business person amongst women in India. 7-8 year startup story, 30 years of private sector work before she did a startup, and at the age of 58 is now the richest startup entrepreneur or lady entrepreneur, self-made, with no family history of business. So truly inspiring stories around for all of us. We have startups coming out from Odisha, becoming multi-billion-dollar ventures. We have startups coming out of Bihar, demonstrating their capabilities across the world. So there's huge potential. We have to catalyze that potential and ultimately integrate the startup ecosystem, and along with that our academia, our industry, our technology, all of them working together so that we can increase our footprint in global markets. Ladies and gentlemen, India may have a billion problems, but I think the Prime Minister once had said, for those billion problems, we have a brilliant set of billion innovators. These brilliant billion, if I can call them that, can do wonders. They can truly come up with extremely cost-effective, very relevant, innovative ideas, solving the problems of our farmers, of our dairy, of our small businesses, our hawkers, our poor, whether it's financial inclusion, whether it's education solutions, all of this will come out of all of you. And therefore, let's work together to truly transform India and let the startups be at the forefront of this journey of transformation. Maybe we can create dedicated e-platforms for the various ideas that keep coming up so that we can disseminate that all over the world. Maybe we can look at somebody amongst you can come up with a platform for our tribal artisans who have some wonderful products that will have great acceptance across the world if properly marketed, branded, given support on design, given support on packaging, and which can help transform the lives of our tribals. So a lot of things can be done, and together we certainly can achieve big results, big outcomes. As Prime Minister Modi said, and I quote, "No obstacle can stop India from fulfilling its 21st century dreams and aspirations. Our strength is our vitality. Our strength is our solidarity. Our life force is the spirit of the nation first." Let's work with that spirit. Let's go for problem solving, finding solutions for the billion Indians aspiring for a better quality of life. My best wishes to each and every one. Thank you.
Thank you very much. sir, for your wonderful, inspiring address covering wide spectrum, right from STEM students to EdTech, AgriTech, especially challenged people, tier 2, tier 3 cities, and so on and so forth. It was really very inspiring. And also, it was very important for us to note that you did say that MSI and Maharashtra State Innovation Societies, all these new suggestions, you would dwell upon that and look into them closely. Thank you so much. So one more thing I would like to also share with you, that all the startups of Mumbai on weekends come to Pune for brainstorming and innovation. So whenever we come to Pune. Thank you so much, sir. And with these words, and respected audience, I'm not here to give any address. I'm here to propose vote of thanks. But prior that, just brief, I will tell you about the university, which is 73 years old university. There are 52 odd departments on the campus. We are into both post-graduation and undergraduation. 7.5 lakhs students get enrolled for their graduation every year. We have jurisdiction over 3 district places, Nashik, Nagar and Pune. And then last 4 years, constantly we've been there in the first 10 at national level, despite the fact we are a state university. So we are ranked among the first 10. And because of that, those credentials obviously, the RUSA, for great extent I have provided funds to start a startup culture on the campus in the form of SPP Research Park Foundation, a sectionate company dedicated basically to work on 5 different verticals: agriculture, healthcare, water, then the electrical mobility and AI, that's artificial intelligence. And that to great extent has provided basically an ecosystem, and presently we have 30 startups working on different areas which I spoke about. Apart from that, we have basically a strong collaboration with foreign universities. In fact, perhaps the only university in the state of Maharashtra, we jointly run a course with Melbourne University. There is a blended BSc program that we run in 5 areas. With California University, basically we run a liberal education program which is not there in any of the state universities, not even at the central universities. Most of private universities in fact offer this kind of a course where the fees are to the tune of about tens of lakhs of rupees in order. We run it with a peanut cost of per kilometer 30,000. And then apart from that, perhaps only state university now have started our own campus abroad, that is at Qatar. Basically, we are doing a program with the Qatar Ministry, and these are basically some of the strong points of this particular university. And then apart from that, in the education sector, in the online mode, there are 2 things that we have recently started. One is called as Degree Plus program, so whichever is not there embedded into your curriculum, which is happening just yesterday, gets incorporated today, and that is what the Degree Plus program is all about. So we have a strong collaboration with MIT, with the Harvard Business School, with EDAS, with Amazon, and there are 400 such certificate and degree courses being provided in online mode. And for skilling, basically, there is another platform that we have created called as STICK, wherein we actually provide online education for various different skills as well. And then there is a skill center on the campus, and rather than going for the usual or normal UA courses, we have started courses with the industry, that is one with Jewelry and Gemology Council of India, that is basically a course in gemology and jewelry designing, then with Maruti Udyog, so many things. So in fact I can go on talking about it, but the time is very short. I am very grateful to the Honorable Minister. I have seen like he was to come at 2, but in fact he came much early, and in fact has spent more than 2.5 hours over here. So he was virtually looking at every startup with passion. He had listened to them, he have given them enough of time, and therefore I am very grateful to him. In fact, day before yesterday I came to know about his visit through Jagdale, and then I was in Delhi, so I didn't do anything. In fact, Jagdale and Apurva Palkar, they took the reins in their hand, and then galvanized most of the industry people out. And you could see the so many startups appearing despite the fact it's Sunday. So I'm grateful to 2 of my colleagues, basically Apurva Palkar and Rajesh Jagdali. And Marma Madam, obviously, I don't consider her to be an outsider. She's always been there with us, have backed up through RUSA. Basically, the first funding has come from her actually when she was the director RUSA at the state level, then into the tribal ministry, and in fact, she supported many of our projects, the digital infrastructure that were created, and now in the skill industry. So I'm so grateful to you, Shruti Madam Ji. Thank you so very much for sparing your valuable time, and all of you basically, despite the fact it's Sunday, normally Punekars actually don't move out on Sundays, but because of basically the interest that you have, passion you have for the startups, you could all come over here. So I'm grateful to all of you. Thank you so very much. Thank you very much. Thank you everyone. Please go back home safe and enjoy the rest of the weekend. Thank you, sir.
मस्त